friends, would you like to read some bedtime stories with me? Today we're going to read The Princess and the Pea and You're a Big Sister. The Princess and the Pea. Once upon a time there lived a handsome prince. He had loving parents and plenty of friends and lived in a wonderful life in his castle. But one thing made him sad. He did not have a wife. The prince had always wanted to marry a princess, but he wanted her to be clever and funny and loving and kind. Not one of the princesses that he met at parties and balls was quite right. Some of the princesses were too mean, some were too rude. Some were too quiet and some were too loud. And some were just plain boring. So the prince decided to travel the world in hope of finding a perfect princess. He met many more princesses who tried to impress him with their beauty, their dancing, and their baking. But still none was quite right. I'm never going to meet the girl of my dreams, he sighed to himself. Cheer up, son, said the king. You are still young. One day you will meet a wonderful girl, just like I met your mother. Several months later, when even the king and queen had begun to give up hope of their son ever finding a bride, there was a terrible storm. Suddenly, there was a loud knock on the castle door. I wonder who could be out on such a terrible stormy night, said the prince. When he opened the door, a pretty young girl stared back at him. She was soaked from head to toe. Please may I come in for a moment, she pleaded. I was travelling to see my friends, but I got lost in this storm, and now I am very cold and wet. You poor thing, said the queen. You must stay the night. You cannot travel on in this weather. The prince smiled at the girl. What is your name? I'm Princess Penelope, she replied. You are all very kind. I don't want to be a bother to you. And the word princess, the queen smiled to herself. She took the girl's hand and said, Of course not. Let's get you warm and dry. Later, the prince listened contentedly as the charming princess chatted away over supper. She was clever and funny and loving and kind. By the end of the evening, he'd fallen in love. The queen was delighted when she saw what was happening, but she wanted to be quite sure that Penelope was a real princess. She went to the guest room in the castle and placed a tiny pea under the mattress. Then she told the servants to pile 20 more mattresses onto the bed and 20 feather quilts on top of the 20 mattresses. The queen showed the princess to her room. Sleep well, my dear, she said. In the morning, the queen asked Penelope how she'd slept. Penelope didn't want to be rude, but she couldn't lie. I'm afraid I hardly slept a wink, she replied. I'm so sorry, replied the queen. Was the bed not comfortable? There were so many lovely mattresses and quilts. It should have been very comfortable, replied the princess. But I could feel something lumpy, and now I am black and blue all over. The queen grinned and hugged the girl to her. That proves it, she cried. Only a real princess would be able to feel a tiny pea through 20 mattresses and 20 further quilts. The prince was filled with joy. He had finally met the princess of his dreams. Not long after that, the prince asked Princess Penelope to be his wife. They married, and the prince was never unhappy again. And as for the pea, it was put in the Royal Museum as proof that perfect princesses do exist. Let's read another story. This one's called You're a Big Sister. You're going to be a big sister, and that's so lucky for you. Babies love their big sisters and the clever things they do. Big sisters know babies like quiet, so just smile and whisper, "Hello." Big sisters are really good helpers. Let's all get ready and go. All babies are cute, fun and cuddly, but there are things a big sister soon knows. Babies dribble, kick, and might even be sick, all over your clothes and your toes. Though they are so very tiny, babies can make a big stink. And when they're not feeling well, babies scream and yell so loud you can't hear yourself think. Babies haven't learnt to play fair yet, but remember you were little once too. So be kind and share, cuddle, play and take care, and help them be clever like you. When Mummy and Daddy are busy, always know they love you too. And now that you're a big sister, enjoy sharing with somebody new. I hope you'll join me for some more bedtime stories.